Welcome guys, come on in. Come on in. Oh my friends, I'm so happy you've joined me. Welcome to my home in Brisbane, Australia. Thank you so much for coming all this way. Can I give you a hug? Like I'm a hugger? Yeah, you're okay. Come here, come here. Ah, I'm so happy to meet you. Well, welcome. Oh, excuse me. I just gotta adjust your face. There you go. Welcome to my home. Now, this is my lovely wife, Kit. Come on here. Hey.
Hi, we're so happy to have you here. Thanks for making the trip.
Nice. Now, Kit's an introvert, so she's not going to be joining us for the whole thing, but we are currently in Kit's office. Now, I know what you're here for. To meet my cats. Well, you're in luck. My cats love meeting people. So let's come over here and let's meet Nynaeve first. This is Nynaeve sitting up here in her little tower. Hey, girl. How you doing? Isn't she beautiful? Beautiful. Both of our cats are rescue cats, and Nynaeve is the nicest rescue cat. This is our little demon cat, Esme, who's short for Esmeralda.
Yeah, Esmeralda Weatherwax from Discworld.
Yes. Well, I call her Esmeralda from Weatherwax in Discworld, and Kit calls her Esmeralda from Disney. So, you know, it was a happy compromise. Okay, let's get to the library tour. We're so excited. We have been working over the Christmas break to make a new library upgrade, and I'm very excited to share it with you all today. Let's go. Since you're here, I should probably play a little bit of music, right? I mean, you came all this way, the least I can do is play on the piano for a bit. I'm also going to play a clip of Kit and I constructing our library at the same time. Okay. So it seems at some point I broke the piano. We're just gonna do it with the broken piano. Let's go. One take. Let's look at my childhood dream library. It's finally come true. And behold, in all its glory. I'm so happy with it. It literally goes, literally goes from the ground to the roof. It's so big. I love it so much. All right, well, let's go through this. I'm sure you want to see all the books on my shelf, and that's very important to me as well. So let's have a look. Excuse me, I'm just going to adjust your face again so you can see. I had to get the most important books to me in the middle, as you can see. So I try to be very objective when I introduce books to you and like help you find your favorites, but I've already found my favorites. So just, to go on record for all of time, my favorite series, we've got the Cosmere. I got a whole Cosmere shelf. Underneath it, straight away, Wheel of Time. Of course, love Wheel of Time. And over on this side, Robin Hobb's Realm of the Elderlings, which I just think is one of the greatest series written of all time. Underneath, of course, is Discworld. Look at this, Discworld. Sorry for the shaky face. Discworld from 1 through to 41, all in order. Oh, so good. And out under Discworld is the Dresden Files. This is my Jim Butcher shelf. Yeah. So those will probably be my top 5. They're the ones I just reread over and over again. And I'm just so happy with the collection here. They finally have such a place of glory. Top and center in the place of the Radiant Champion is, of course, Middle-earth. Because, of course, it is. Here's Mistborn, leather-bound Mistborn. And, of course, from the Kickstarter, the Brandon Sanderson Kickstarter, these are the bookends. Mistborn bookends. So on the left is the Inquisitor, on the right is Vin in her Mistborn form. Absolutely love it. I didn't have any space to display them on my old library, but I finally have them now. So underneath Discworld, this is Michael R. Miller's shelf. Indie author. Did a few videos with him and did an interview with him as well, if you haven't checked that out. Right down here, we have The Name of the Wind and the Kingkiller Chronicles. Now, let me just address this. Many of you have been asking for, where's your Kingkiller Chronicle video? Boy, you sure are passionate fans. I can't tell you how many number of random comments I have. I'll be like talking about Daevabad or Game of Thrones and there'll just be a random, where's the Kingkiller? So, just so you know, that one's coming in roughly April. That's when I have it scheduled. Also, you may not like it. I know a lot of people say that Kingkiller is like a 10 out of 10 best series ever. For me, it's like a hard 7 out of 10. Like, it's really strong in some areas and really weak in other areas. It's a very imbalanced book. So, we'll get there. So, I'll actually acknowledge, up the very top here, these two top shelves here, this is my to-read pile. As you can see, it's kind of massive. Also, a random Malazan book, which I have read. But yes, some indie authors up here on the top left. Some more Jim Butcher. That George R. Martin Dangerous Women book has been on my to-read shelf for like 3 years. It's getting embarrassing. So more Terry Brooks from the Shannara series. I've been slowly, casually working on that one. The Black Company, again, another book that's been there for like 2 years waiting for me. And Forge of Darkness, I'll say Forge of Darkness is sort of there as a placeholder. It's meant to represent all of the prequels, sequels, and novellas for the Malazan Empire, which I'm getting to. Up here, some more ones I'm getting to. The Rivers of London series, I've heard so many good things about it. Urban fantasy, I love urban fantasy, and I write urban fantasy, to be honest. So again, I'll try to get to it as soon as possible. And the, Heir of the Empire. Heir to the Empire? Yeah. So basically the Thrawn trilogy. I got a friend of mine who's been recommending me that one for years. So it's finally on my to-read shelf. Peter Hamilton for sci-fi. Up here is Stephen Donaldson and the Chronicles of Thomas Covenant. Here's a fascinating thing, but fantasy sort of works in generations. So like one generation inspires the next. So Tolkien is sort of like the great-grandfather of fantasy who inspired the next generation, which was a Terry Brooks type character, which inspired the grandfather, which was Robert Jordan, which inspired the current father, which is Brandon Sanderson, which inspired the current generation, which is me and you. So I love how each generation has sort of inspired the next. Well, Stephen Donaldson was a big name, sort of like the great-grandfather for fantasy, of course. So it's one of those ones where, like, inspired so many of the current authors working today. I don't know if it's actually that good, but again, I'll get around to it. Now, next to here we have two shelves here for Brandon Sanderson, of course. So one is the Cosmere shelf and one is the non-Cosmere. And I gotta say, if you guys haven't read the Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarian series, I want to cover it in March. It's one of my favorite series. It's basically Discworld for kids, you know, and of course I love Discworld. What we got? We got the Reckoners, we got a few standalones, and of course the Skyward series, which I am currently reading Defiant. Finally, I want to do that this month. Sort of a dystopian era here. You'll recognize Lindsay Ellis, classic YouTuber. She's a massive inspiration on me. I love her and miss her presence on YouTube all the time. But those are her books, which I'm looking for a chance to cram them in there and talk about it at some point. I'll get around to it. Dark Tower and The Sword of Truth. I know. You know, Sword of Truth is massively popular in Australia. I have so many people who are like, you gotta read The Sword of Truth, and had so many mega fans, you know, push me to read it. I eventually read the whole series just to prove that I could read the whole series and still not like it. I might actually talk about it one day because a lot of people do like it. And hey, people have their own reasons for liking books, you know? It could be a bad book, but if people still enjoy it, there must be something good about it. I'd be interested to actually discuss that. Yeah, so that's sort of the gist of it. One thing I'll say is that I have been limited in shelf space for the longest time, so I haven't been buying physical books because I don't have anywhere to put them. Now I've actually got space, like that glorious shelf up there, just waiting for me. Probably going to buy Malazan finally, because I've just wanted to have that collection. Even though I listened to it all, I just want to have it so I can, you know, read it again, that sort of thing. It's the sort of series that deserves that. And you know what, let me share something about myself. You guys might not know this, but I come from a very large family. There were 7 kids in my family, and I was number 6. Wow. And if you think that's crazy, my mum comes from a family of 15. Ooh. One of the things that happens when you come from a big family is you're taught to always put the family first, to not think about yourself too much. But it also means sometimes you grow up and you don't know how to think about yourself. So I have wanted a big ass bookcase like this and a big library for years, and I've never had the courage to do it for myself. So now I finally have, and my inner child is very happy. Well, I have a couple of other fun things I want to share with you while you're here. Since you've come all this way, I want to show you my office. So my talented wife, Kit, who you met, decorated this for me as a birthday gift this year just past. And I really want to share it with you. It's Lord of the Rings themed. You ready for this? Let's have a look. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. Check it out. This is my office. This is my workspace. Excuse the messy desk, of course. You know, all creative geniuses are a little bit messy. But up here we have the script for The One Ring. We have this gorgeous frame that goes the length of the room. We have these doors that have been done to look like a tavern. Over here, we got the roof. Sorry, I'm kicking stuff in the background. But over behind me, this is the real good stuff. Let me just get all my equipment ready. Oh, hang on. Behold. My very talented wife, Kit, put all of this together. This is a full montage of Lord of the Rings that sits on the wall behind me whenever I work. In fact, I'm just going to zoom out. There you are. So there you are. You have the Fellowship on the mountain. You have this gorgeous tavern door as well. It's just beautiful. I absolutely adore this. Look at that. She did confess it wasn't painted by hand. She did have a little script that she painted over the top of, like a little gap thing. But she did a few of these. Look up here, we have dragons flying over the door. And right down the bottom here, we have a little half creature. Precious. And down here, a little hobbit door. Kid loves little fairy doors, so they're hidden all over the room. There's this giant poster of Lord of the Rings. Love that one. And some artwork up here. Actually, let me just show you off. That's the guy who did it. I'll put a link in there. These are just gorgeous. Now, there's one last thing I want to show you today. This is my comments board. When I first started being a YouTuber, I was pretty nervous, and I was having a hard time adjusting to the natural criticism you encounter on the internet. And Kit did this wonderful gift for me where she printed out many of your comments and put them on this board. And they loom over top of me when I work. as all of your encouragement, all of the kind things each and every one of you have said to me. And you know what? It has made a world of difference. It has been a constant source of encouragement to me. I read these all the time. And you know what? This was done in September. I've had so many more positive comments since then. As much as I did want to show off my new library, I also wanted to make this video as a thank you to each and every one of you who have been a positive comment, who have interacted with my videos and have just said that my videos have made a difference for you, have taught you something, have increased your passion for reading, because that's all I want to do. I know I often say it at the end of my videos that I love you guys. I genuinely mean that. So thank you all for watching The Book Guy. Thank you so much for coming all this way. I'll see you next time. Bye! Oh no! I completely forgot to give our guests this wonderful plate of treats that my wife put together.